but it's a cancer that's becoming more and more prominent, and it starts off prominent already. If you look at the cancers in the global landscape, I mean, we all know about breast cancer. We all know about Movember and prostate cancer, but we all forget about colon cancer. And whether you're a guy or a girl, it's your second most likely cancer that because you're only one of the other two. And it's the one we all avoid. So looking at our global landscape from an epidemiological point of view, it's also the one that's on the rise, big time. We don't really know why, but we know that it's getting younger. The age group's getting younger, and when they present as a result, it's more aggressive and more advanced because it's an age group that we're not seeing as often. I can hypothesize onto why, but yeah, it's definitely one to know about, as you say.
So just a question on the increase of incidence of the colon CA. Do you see it in the older age as well, or is it the added numbers in the younger age causing the increase? Meaning, do you see a stabilization in the older group, or are they also on the rise? Because we know that the younger group are on the increase.
So honestly, I the last time I looked at the stats was 2 years ago, and that was the younger group that's on the rise, and the older group is just still there. It hasn't dropped off.
Yes.
There's an increase in incidence because there's a younger group coming into the fore. So it almost appears to me like the age group is shifted to the younger. We've got a saying in this colorectal world: if you live long enough, you're going to get colon cancer. It's almost a statistical inevitability through aging. The question is just how long time do you have until that switch happens in the colon where it changes to cancer? So when the curve shifts left, you see the overall increase.
And that's obviously the blind spot, because traditionally we don't look for colon cancer in the young population.
Yeah.
I think maybe one step back, let's talk about colon cancer. What is a cancer in the colon? How does it progress? Is it, from just general so that the general population understands?
So generally speaking, colon cancer is a genetic mutation in the colon cells. These are relatively fast dividing cells, and it's a mucosal surface. And as they undergo genetic mistakes, majority of them will progress into a polyp. And then from the polyp, an adenoma, it progresses into a carcinoma. So there's this relatively predictable sequence of adenoma, carcinoma, carcinogenesis.
So for our listeners out there, polyp looks like a skin tag, or if you see it.
Yeah, so in the same way as you say a skin tag, you might have a mole on your skin, which is an abnormality on the skin cell growth. The same thing can happen in the colon. The only difference is in the colon, it's very hidden. So when those polyps happen, you don't know about them. And there's about a 5 to 10 year plus minus lead time between those genetic mutations happening. And my analogy is always it's like climbing a ladder. The first step up the ladder, you've got an adenoma, then it becomes a high-grade adenoma or a high-grade dysplasia, in other words, very abnormal. And then from there it goes, another switch will happen where it stops dying or it divides more actively, and then it starts spreading. So within a cell that's already abnormal, it's more prone to get more abnormalities. And that's how this sort of vicious cycle accelerates into the cancer.
So the longer you leave it, the worse the outcome.
Yes. Or the more likely it is to become cancer.
So it is quite you can almost use the analogy of the skin. You start from the outside and it grows in, and the deeper it grows, the more it's likely to spread.
Well, I mean, the definition of a cancer is invasion of the basement membrane. And I mean, the colon's cellular layer is 1 cell thick. So it's not that it goes deeper. The minute it goes deeper, it's a cancer. But it does grow. It gets thicker. It enlarges in its size. And as it enlarges, you've got more cells that are abnormally dividing. And so your statistical eventuality becomes a cancer. And the determinants are really how fast are they dividing and how abnormal are they to start with.